Okay, everybody. It's good friend Lukie. Daniel Dubois hit Usyk. Was it below the belt? Was it on the belt? Who knows? We're going to get into this video. If you don't like my opinion, be sure to get really mad and yell at your computer screen because that would be super helpful. And if this is your first time watching my videos, welcome. I'd like to greet you. Maybe hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and at the very least, maybe get a little dance onto this groovy intro. So, as everybody knows, the low blow heard round the world. Daniel Dubois drops Usyk in the 5th round. People are split. It's boxing's the funniest sport, right? Because you've never met more insecure men in your life than you will if you talk about boxing on YouTube. It is for such a masculine and macho sport. The amount of insecurity you will find in the boxing community is second to none. And people are treating this. I saw Calix Boxing. He put up a video of like the Zapruder film of JFK. This is another instance where people are just finding the narratives that they. So I'm going to jump into something before I lay the groundwork. Let me lay the groundwork and then I'll jump into that something. Dubois lands a punch. It's a borderline punch. I put on my Twitter, is this a borderline punch? Was it a foul? Got 102 votes. It was like 40 some odd people said it's borderline, ref discretion. 25-ish thought it was like Dubois should have won. 32 thought it was a low blow. Basically, it's very all over the place. What the fight comes down to me was this is a ref's discretion call. And also, if you're a hardcore fan, if you work a full-time job, if boxing's your relaxation, whatever your inherent first thought of this blow is, that will be your truth for the whole time. For me, it looked like a low blow, so it's hard for me to not unsee it as a low blow. Tons of people I respect, like G Funky, he thinks it's a clean shot. Probably when he saw it, he probably saw it as a clean shot. So be it. I personally think Usyk would have gotten up if they started to count. I think it was veteran experience when he stays down, but who knows? This is fiction. Whatever it is. Now let's take into account two things. Louis Pabon, the referee, never set a clear guideline on where is it. There's been instances in the sport of boxing where low blows have been deemed clean shots and clean shots have been deemed low blows. There's been instances where these punches that landed have been ruled clean or fouls in the same exact spot. Boxing is not law enforcement. Law enforcement is you do something wrong, you get arrested. This is baseball umpiring. There's a strike zone. The strike zone changes fight by fight. It changes by the popularity of the other fighter. It changes by the circumstance. It changes by the referee's discretion. There's nothing fair about boxing. As Harry S. Truman once said, if you want a friend, buy a dog. That's boxing. There's no friends in this sport. To me, what happened was it's a boom-boom call. You're in Poland. You saw the president of the Ukraine give a speech to people. Political overtones of this. Even if Pabon thought this was a clean shot, it's just hard to believe, given the circumstances of this fight, that a referee is going to start a count on this call. When it's a borderline call and you have an all-time great, a historically great fighter in Usyk getting hit in this manner, 9 times out of 10 in a hometown fight, the referee is going to side with an A-side fighter. That's just boxing. You can go, oh, it's not fair. Life isn't fair, and boxing is even meaner than life. That's just the way boxing typically happens. It's a blessing for Daniel Dubois, though, and I know people are like, what are you saying? Why is it a blessing? Because if Dubois won this fight this way, just as many people would be saying, oh, man, he lost. He won this fight on a low blow. So Dubois was damned if he does, damned if he didn't. Because the way that he landed this telling blow was in such a way that if he had won, this win would have been overshadowed and belittled by everyone because it would have been so controversial. Now he's a folk hero. He can open up his bar at some point, like Dubois Fish and Chips or Bar and Grill. He can put the poster up where he's standing looking buff and Usyk's on the ground. He can tell everyone and maybe he ends up winning a world title. You know, this is experience, but he comes away looking better than he had done. And then there's also the thing no one's talking about. Okay, this got ruled like this. Injustices have happened in boxing, and guess what? The fighter dictates the fight. Are we going to excuse the fact that he let Usyk off the hook? That Dubois has a bully mentality, and when this guy took his best shot and things didn't go his own way, he got annihilated and then stopped in the 9th round? I mean, that's part of this fight. You had a guy in a vulnerable and compromised position. You thought you landed a clean punch, and then you let him off the hook because it didn't go your way. That's classic bully behavior. And that we're supposed to have sympathy for that? I just don't understand it. That shows an ability of mental weakness from Daniel Dubois, because you're not going to always have things go your way. And it feels like Dubois, up until this point, the Lorena fight, the Joe Joyce fight, this fight, everything's been too easy until he got to these fights. And in every hard fight he's had, we see a bit of resiliency, but we also see a lot of bully. When the bully isn't able to bully the other guy, there's a level of, well, this isn't fun to Daniel Dubois. And we saw that yet again in this fight. So my take in general on this is a faith-based argument. This is an argument meant for middle-aged men to get on YouTube, yell, get mad, scream, have hot take opinions, bond with other men over this. But in the big scheme of things, Usyk is a guy who fights up and down to his level of competition. This is a classic Usyk fight where he's just barely doing enough to beat Dubois. Has a round where there's some controversy, and then the other part of that no one talks about, from round 6 on, he's beating the brakes off of the guy, and from rounds 1 to 4, he's winning the majority of the rounds. The fight wasn't all that competitive, but it was exciting, right? Because Dubois made a decision that he was gonna come forward and he was going to be aggressive. It was 4-2, maybe 3-3 if you give Dubois every benefit of the doubt, but he was staying in there. And then after that knockdown and after Usyk kind of started hitting him hard, Dubois mentally broke because he knew that he wasn't going to be able to impose him and bully this guy. And that's the key thing. Dubois is not a quitter. He's a bully. So he got out-bullied, and what we know about Dubois is when he can't out-bully you, boxing becomes unfun to him. And that's what I saw in this fight. The controversy over the thing. I think the other thing, Dakota brought this up on the podcast, so listen to the podcast if you want some great stuff. Punches affect Usyk differently than they affect other heavyweights. And I think we saw that with this quote-unquote low blow incident, as well as body shots, legal body shots, as my guy Shutterworth said. Legal body shots that Usyk complained about as low blows. Punches affect Usyk differently. I'm kind of concerned that he didn't train to his upper echelon for this fight. It's a fight in Poland. It was his first homecoming fight. Starting to believe Usyk prefers to fight on the road, that fighting around people being a symbol of hope, it's a little bit harder on him to carry that. Looked a bit like an off night to me, but then again, we're coming off 2 historically great Joshua performances. His fight against Chad Witherspoon was really bad. His fight against Chisora was rather unremarkable. He's feeling like a yo-yo guy. That said, I still don't really doubt that he's going to beat Fury. I just think that he's a guy that he's like Juan Francisco Estrada. He fights up and down to his level of competition, and that's what it is. I think the big controversy is most people didn't give Dubois a chance. Dubois has a magical moment in it. It reminds me of a fight where Robert Guerrero fought a guy named Aaron Martinez, I want to say. Guerrero gets dropped by Aaron Martinez, and then the narrative was Martinez should have won the fight. Guerrero wins a close split decision. This is one of those things where I think Dubois gets the benefit of the doubt because people had such low hopes for him coming into this fight. People expected this to not be a very big fight. And then he had a big moment, and it captures people's emotions. And, I'm such a boxing fan. I drink beer. I'm so passionate. I want to get on the internet and yell at just you. Like, then that guy comes out and they just get on their platform or they get on their Facebook or Twitter and make really nasty comments to other fans that enjoy fights. And, that's the social component. And that's now the narrative building component to these fights is loud platforms saying nasty things add to the fight. The fight itself was controversial knockdown. The ref ruled it how it was. And then Usyk got up and beat the guy up because he was pissed. That's it. Life goes on. Dubois more than likely won't get a rematch, but now he's going to be probably a bigger star in the UK because he's the guy that believes that he beat Usyk, and I'm sure there's a lot of British fans that feel the same way, and now hopefully that can translate to him filling up bigger arenas and have interesting fights. These things happen, guys. These things happen. It's life. That's my take. Let me know in the comments, am I being reasonable about this? Am I being unreasonable? To me, the shot was low. It was below the belt. I get that you couldn't see the navel. It was, to me, the definition of a borderline shot. I think it probably was low, but it was in that gray area. And when you're the champion and you're fighting at home, when do these things not go to the side of a champion? I don't want to say this is an IQ test, but you got to kind of look at how boxing works and kind of think to yourself, okay, yeah. So that's my take. If you think I'm a cool guy, like the video, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Let's get the fastest growing YouTube channel going up even higher on our Social Blade Index. Till the next video, I will see you, but pretty soon I'm gonna be on vacation, so I'm gonna tape record some content. So guys are gonna be starving for content in September. Don't worry, Uncle Lukie will be back soon. I appreciate and love each and every one of you who motivate me to make these videos and watch them. Y'all are the best.